Copia.
Pastor pleads to deep frying bid on McDonald's worker?
Deep frying bid.
What's a deep frying bid?
I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got 5.
Yeah.
Oh, this motherfucker definitely did something illegal.
Oh, shoving a victim's head
God.
forward the fryer. He didn't make it.
It's a fast food fracas.
Dude, I saw something about, what's his name, Medea? Medea and TD Jakes. Fucking, that comedian lady Monique came out and she's like, they sacrificed little boys and did fucked up shit to little boys. And I was like, oh.
In that community, there's a lot of baby sacrifice. Yeah, that. Who are they talking about?
What community would that
Trying
be?
to put us in chains.
The black one.
Yeah. Actually, they call themselves the community.
Urban Americans.
Yeah.
Not the rural ones.
No. Hey, everybody, welcome to Kook's Cranks and
Oh.
Iconoclast.
I almost
Jesus.
spit my coffee out.
Oh, good lordy. I'm your host, Mike Lark, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host.
Spencer Lowry here. How you doing?
Chris No Diddy Wells.
No duty.
No, he most certainly did he not. Did he not?
I didn't.
I don't know.
He did.
Did he most?
What would the charge be for 1,000 bottles of lube? Like criminal fun?
I think the lube.
Who's that hurt?
The lube was just the headline of the story.
Yeah.
The actual, when you get in there, he also had assault rifles, which you can't have in
I
Mostly
California.
the
imagine
sex
some old
trafficking, I
southern-
think,
is
some
there.
old southern white
Drug
judge.
trafficking
Or
in there
drug
as well. The
trafficking,
drug
yeah.
trafficking, sex
Let's
trafficking,
see here. What are the
kidnapping.
charges, bailiff? Sir, it's here. Why don't you read it, Judge?
Yeah.
Oh, what 1,000 bottles of lubrication? Oh, my
Unlawful possession of huge amounts of ass lube.
Oh man.
I mean, I guess you
Specifically for
he's
the
having
ass.
a freak party. What else are you gonna do with it?
could freak offs.
Yeah. They're going to find those tapes. Anywho, that's Diddy news. We'll throw that in for free
That's
this
the Diddy
episode.
Corner, yeah.
Today, we are talking about a little bit more lesser known branch of ufology, at least. I mean, there's a lot out there. I didn't think there was, but I never hear about these guys.
They are, I as much as I have seen before, that this was a new one. I mean, I'd heard about them very, very, very little.
Yeah.
Which turns out,
There's a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
last line of defense.
Dark Horse. We're talking about Mantis aliens today. This actually goes
Mantis?
way deeper than I thought it would.
Or insectoid, if you will.
Yes,
Yeah,
either
yeah.
term
It's-
is
They're
Yeah.
usually compared to Mantis. I saw Grasshopper a few times, and then there's other similar things, but mostly Mantis seems to be the consensus.
I think there might be a lot of
Where
I
they have
hesitate to say misidentification in this.
Yeah, Grasshopper, once you human size a grasshopper, looks a lot like a human sized mantis.
Well, yeah, like also like maybe just tall weird grays or people who have said that like they couldn't really tell the difference between a reptilian looking thing and an insectoid looking thing. But
No,
yeah,
much different.
Mantis aliens. We're gonna get deep into it, but first, as always, we're gonna do a little what's weird this week.
Alrighty.
Grab the
In
bag.
keeping with my general tradition for sex and violence related what's weird this week.
Two of my favorites.
You're gonna have to put in that
This-
exploited song.
Yeah. A woman, a Florida woman, has been busted for
Florida.
the second time for dildo-related assault.
Wait, I didn't know it was the second time.
Yeah, this is her. She's a frequent flyer.
Oh,
So
frequent fucker.
Chelsea
Sounds
White, age 35, was having an argument with her boyfriend, spouse, beau, whatever you want to call it.
Co-dildo enthusiast.
She said,
I don't know if he
the
liked it.
boyfriend said, "Hey,
It was his dildo.
have you seen my giant glass dong?" And she happened to have it. She's like, "No, I haven't seen it." Turns out it was in her backpack.
Oh,
the
it
whole
was
time.
his glass dong.
It was his glass dong.
Oh.
Yeah. And she had the nerve to try and make off with it.
Bitch.
You know, the glass pieces, especially Pyrex. I mean, those fetch a healthy sum, you know, of money. So, anyways, he was obviously upset about it. They started a little fracas, and before you know it, she flung the dildo through the room, trying to hit him in the head. And any glass dildo of
Dick
any
missile.
Respectable size.
It is missile shaped.
Is going to be at least 5 pounds.
King missile, detachable penis.
Don't ask me how I know, but they're hefty. They weigh some. Yeah. And then he ducked, I guess, and the dong whizzed by his ear and then flew into the bedroom door of her daughter, waking up their small child. Daddy, what was that?
Yeah. Santa?
Oh, what is it? It's a. Oh God.
I mean, I don't know.
She tried to make off with it. Things got worse. They were separated. She's on a $1,000 bond for the second charge of sex toy related violence.
He refused to give the sex toy back to the victim.
She was busted in late 2022 when a verbal argument over a handbag and another sex toy.
What?
Turned violent.
So this is their second sex toy related crime.
What? I wouldn't mess with her toys.
I mean, she does look like an amphetamine enthusiast.
Yes. Yeah. That was the first thing I said when sorry, yeah.
And, they be gooning. Get all tweaked out. A lot of masturbating going on there.
Yep.
So,
I mean, and more power to them, but you know what? Don't let it turn ugly.
Yeah, and if your kid's home...
No need for that.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. Get a hotel.
Yeah.
I mean...
Get a nanny for the day.
I think that's the moral of the story here.
Yeah.
Don't let your dildo battles become violent. Just, let it go.
Yeah, let the kids make it,
It's for the kids. Let it go
It's not
for the
kids.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, the peace.
To
have peace.
not do that is for the kids.
Throw a 5-pound glass dildo into your child's door, waking them up from a nice slumber.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wake up to that.
Yeah, nobody would. Anywho, that's
my
what's
alarm
weird.
clock.
Pretty short and sweet, pretty to the point. Dildo violence. Yeah. What about you, Chris?
Oh man, I just got a normal, regular old, silly, feel-good story. No triple C, no politics, no nothing. It's just simple fun involving a mass shooting.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Well, we're also numb to those now.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is from about September 6th, so roughly 2 weeks ago-ish. And this mass shooting got overshadowed by another mass shooting in Georgia because that one, killed some actual people. This one, though, I mean, it's not too much of a laughing matter because it's pretty fucked up. But I don't know, you can laugh a little bit at it. I mean, a man in California was... It's kind of funny. Just because, mass shootings. A man in California... I don't get to joke about mass shootings very often. Give me this little bit here. All right?
I'll let you have it.
A man in California was charged with killing 81 animals in a 3-hour shooting rampage.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this guy.
San Francisco. A man suspected of going on a 3-hour shooting rampage in Northern California and killing 81 animals, including miniature horses, goats, and chickens, pled not guilty to animal cruelty and other charges. Vicente Arroyo, 39, made his first court appearance Thursday after Monterey County sheriffs arrested him earlier this week for allegedly using several weapons to shoot the animals being housed in pens and cages on a lot in a small community in Prunedale. It's regular. It's just a regular town, because
Prunedale.
The prunes.
Yeah.
Right next to Boresville.
So it was like this owner...
The colostomy bag acres.
There was one miniature horse belonged to the owner of the lot, and where the rest of the animals were housed, other 80 belonged to someone who rented the land to house their pets. Look, you got too many fucking pets.
So it was a pet sanctuary. He was killing people's pets.
Kind of. Yeah. All right. I kind of want to read this to Partridge in a Pear Tree, but 14 goats, 9 chickens, 7 ducks, 5 rabbits, a guinea pig, 33 parakeets, and cockatiels. So really, look, 33 of those don't fucking count because they're birds. Oh wait, and 9 chickens. Those are birds too. Oh, and 7 ducks. Really, most of this is just birds. The goats and the mini horses and the guinea pig.
Hey man, those ducks, if a Haitian did it, it'd be all over the news right now.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was a Mexican in California, so not a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway,
picture
about all that
the walkthrough on the ballistics.
Pets,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really that hungry, I mean, we are on top of the food chain for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's people's pets, You know, I don't. I
Well, are
hate.
they
I hate
fed-
people's dogs. If you know, if I could get away with barbecuing the neighbor's dog because it was barking, I might do it.
Well,
but-
you know, it wouldn't taste good because the
Dogs
dog
are
food.
disgusting,
Imagine
yeah.
the food that dogs
Ugh,
eat, that
God,
horrible garbage slag that they get fed in their.
Ugh.
It
Leftover
couldn't
horse.
taste good. Now, if you found a wild dog or a wild cat,
I know.
I think it'd be pretty good.
I think a wild dog and it would be even worse because they're eating just garbage they find and
yeah,
dead
but
animals.
I think that would taste better than a dog that's eating dog food.
I don't know.
When you smell dog food, that's gonna get infused in the meat. You know, like a marinade.
Yeah, but just like regular hogs, if you feed you grain finish them, you got to finish them. You can feed them whatever while you're fattening them up, but the last like month of their life, you got to feed them a better diet, and that
clean
makes
'em
them
out.
it like flushes the garbage out and puts a better.
It's
taste
like
on
with
the meat.
escargot snails, they feed them like cornmeal and lettuce to right when they're about to get ripe. So
We're all
that-
gonna be eating bugs in
so
the
it
next
gets
couple
all
years.
the
So
yeah
Good
gets
to
all
know.
the grit out of their gullet.
Me, I'll just be eating my neighbors.
Yeah. Barbacoa.
Yeah. Well, they're not all Mexican. But yeah.
Soul H. Coatl. Barbacoa.
H. Coatl. Coatl. Okay. Anyway, so this guy killed all these animals. Authorities received calls. SWAT showed up. You know, I mean, because it was like hours of this guy just walking around fucking. And I also want to think that he was like, old MacDonald had a farm with a here and a you know.
yeah, I was trying to
Do you think he
recreate
had fun
the,
with it? Do you think he had
recreate the
fun with
crime scene in my head
I don't
because
know,
I heard like one
Like
guinea
how
pig.
William Dafoe did in like what was that Boondock Saints? Yeah.
yeah.
He's like recreating it. in
There
his
was
mind.
a blood.
Yeah.
There was a gunfight. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I feel bad about the tit thing.
Yeah, said he did it with a AK, and he had
Damn.
an AK. He had 7 firearms with him and 2,000 rounds of various calibers. Nice.
So he was planning on doing a whole lot more.
No, he's just rolling, bro. Like that's. I mean,
Did it say what set him off to do this?
I'm
He just
looking.
got that
I'm
from a
looking, and
vending
it
machine
didn't.
outside the Walmart.
He was charged with willfully discharging of a fire. I mean, I don't think they got him on. Oh, they did kind of get him on animal cruelty, but technically,
cruelty if
it's
you
not.
just
You can
execute it.
if you just execute them, but it said a lot of them were and weren't put out. They had to be put down after.
That's cruel.
Ew.
That is
Yeah.
cruel. Now, if it's perfectly legal to dome. You could just walk up to. If you own a horse, you could walk up and shoot that motherfucker in the brain. Ain't nothing illegal about that. So,
Yeah, I saw a dog execution.
If you
with a
own it,
gun.
yeah.
if you own it, you can do that. If you, but the thing is, he did not own all these animals, so this is essentially property damage. And he did get animal cruelty, and property
What's
damage,
PETA got to say about
vandalism.
all
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares what they got to say about it?
this?
They can go fuck
They're
away.
gonna throw paint all over it.
Yeah. But
That'll show them.
anyway, yeah, it was a mass shooting of animals, not people. So there's at least a thumbs up, right? Right?
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
Right?
in this economy, that's that's a W.
I hope somebody ate
the
some
goats.
of that shit.
Yeah, I hope somebody ate the goats, the chickens. Now I don't. Did
Turn it
it
into
say?
a big stew.
It did say parakeets.
I saw
That's
it,
hard
too.
shooting.
Parakeets aren't good eating.
There's nothing to eat, especially if you shoot it with a fucking assault rifle.
See,
They're
I
like
know
all feathers.
It's just gonna poof.
you were singing it in the tune of the Christmas song, and I heard
Partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, and I heard one guinea pig in there.
Yeah, there was one guinea pig.
So
that should have
that's
been
what
the last one.
that's what made me like start picturing this dude going on his rampage. Just
You think the
like,
guinea pig was the one that set him off, and
Maybe.
then he worked his way up to the horse, the mini horse?
I mean,
It wasn't even horses; it was mini horses. So he just shot the
like
cute,
those little
the
freakish
cute little
pony
freakish
things.
midget horses. This dude domed a couple of cute horses.
No.
Goats, I could see goats. I've never met a goat I liked. I mean, you ever met some goats? They're assholes.
I've eaten some goats that are
Goats,
pretty good.
goats are fucking delicious.
I've seen videos of
Cabrito.
goats that are fun.
Yeah, they're fun, but I mean, I wouldn't want to like be roommates with one. You know?
Stop eating my sheep. bro.
Yeah. So
Greatest of all
And
time.
everything else.
But and like yeah, I could understand. But the guinea pig, I could shoot a bird, no problem. Like I don't know. I don't think birds have soul. They're like fish, you know, but they fly. You know, there's no souls in there. I don't think.
There's no heaven for goldfish.
Yeah, what
No.
the fuck? I mean, fish, birds, like I don't know. I've never met a bird I liked either.
They're all in here. I'm pointing at my heart.
I'm
here.
pointing at my stomach because today was church's 8-piece bucket special, and I ate some bird earlier.
Chaos churches.
Some Yardbird.
Oh yeah, god damn. That Texas crispy chicken. Yeah. What if I became the next church's spokesman? That'd be awesome.
You would instantly alienate about 75 to 80% of their audience, I think.
I don't think so. They like me. I go to churches, people won't stop talking to me in the fucking line. Like everybody wants to talk to me.
Look, there's another one.
Yeah. Another what? Another what?
Moving on.
Individual.
So I got
discerning
some science news this week. Apparently, researchers have developed a technique to make human skin transparent.
I saw that.
Yeah, and all it takes
Ooh.
is the usage of one simple chemical that you have lying around in your house.
Kevin Bacon.
Click this post to find out what. No, it's yellow number 5.
Oh,
basically.
that's right.
Yeah.
I remember.
They say
Really?
Yeah, isn't that fucking freaky?
Yeah, they just like rub it on the skin. Well, I don't know if you rub it on. All I've seen as how it's applied is
It said they shot him up with it, I thought.
I didn't see anything about needles because they also said that they could use it for people who don't like needles.
Well, either way, they had to put it on this. Man, all right, look, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
buy
I
a
think
box
it's
of Fruit Loops. We're gonna pull all the yellows out, crush them up in a spoon, and get my meat injector fucking syringe, and then we're gonna fucking shoot my skin up with yellow fucking Fruit Loops and see what happens.
Dude,
Yeah,
that'd
I
be
would
awesome
try
to,
that
like-
if we could get some yellow number 5. I would guinea pig myself for that. You can get it. I bet
To
it's on
become the
Amazon.
visible man.
I mean, we've
Like,
already
see
ingested
all
enough
your shit.
yellow number 5.
Yeah, why doesn't it happen when you eat fucking Cheerios?
On another
Or Fruit Loops?
note, I did see, I think they actually made that where anything with yellow, I think that was on the list of things in California that have to be marked as cancer causing now.
Oh.
Nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't buy Cheetos. Hot Cheetos, they won't sell hot Cheetos in schools anymore in California because they're known to have cancer causing materials.
Oh, goody.
Can I have my chili Fritos? Can't have shit, I'm closed, fat boy.
Yeah, it says dissolve the dye in water, apply the solution to the skin so it's topical, and then the skin becomes transparent. So apparently,
Holy
if you just
shit.
get this shit at home, you can follow those 3 little steps and
Really?
start looking inside your own body.
Like, it'd be like those little lizards that run around, the geckos.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things have kind of like translucent skin.
It says at the yellow number 5, the chemical name is tartrazine, I believe is how you
Man,
pronounce
there's
it.
gonna be a bunch of fake ass superheroes fucking coming out.
There
They're like,
it is.
I am Gecko Man. Look
Here it
through
is,
me.
$14 for a big
That's
tub.
so-
of it.
It's not even a good superpower.
You can see my shit move around in my body.
It's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah, because they said when they applied it to mice, they were like, we can see the blood vessels and the bowel movements. Like, okay, well, you scientists are
Hey,
certainly.
yellow
Wow.
number 5
You
is
can-
kosher.
You can buy a straight up big old thing, yellow number 5.
What's pariv?
That means kosher.
Okay. Yeah, so it says this technique has potential applications in medicine and healthcare, obviously, including diagnostics, cancer treatment, and making veins more visible to draw blood.
And
That's why they were
tattoo
saying-
parlors will probably be pumping this shit into people soon.
Whoa, I didn't even think of that. You can get like
A
outlines
see-through
done.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, you get a see-through tattoo.
But I don't know the shelf life on this stuff, like if it would last that long.
Yeah, is it a reaction or is it a pigment that's not? I don't think it's the pigment doing that.
Because
so.
it says it
I think it's a creepy, scary reaction that it does
yeah,
to your body.
It says it dissolves in about 6 to 8 hours, I believe it was. That's probably even longer.
So they can be like a skeleton man for Halloween.
quite frankly.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I know him. Oh, God. I got
Oh, well, what was that dude back in the day? You remember he wore the little suit that you could see, like all his organs were on
I
it?
know who you're
The
talking
kids
about.
show. The
but I
kids show.
don't-
He had like a fro.
Mr. Body or something
Something
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very strange. I thought when I was a kid
Mr. Body was from Clue.
that guy was the same as Cousin Larry from Perfect Strangers.
He did look the same. He did look like the same as Cousin Larry.
Cousin Larry, I can see your guts. So yeah, thanks science. Fucking, you've made another breakthrough to help people, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a good thing that they don't have to like fucking bombard you with X-rays and all that bullshit to like see in your body now.
Slim Goodbody.
Slim Good. That's what it was.
That was his name.
Oh shit. Woo! That's what's weird this week.
That's weird.
Today we are covering Mantis aliens. These guys don't
crickets like the mantis.
don't get a lot of play, really. but there's a whole goddamn world of information out there,
Mantis are valid too.
especially from let me make sure I quote this source right.
On the Gaia?
the channeler Amaria from soulsalight.com. We'll get to her later.
Oh no, you got into the weird.
Yeah, soulsalight.com.
Yeah.
Did y'all listen to that one where she was called that I sent with the lady that was calling them like Nickelbacks or whatever?
Yeah, the mukbang.
Oh, yeah.
Monkeyback? I don't know. It sounded like Nickelback when she said it.
I don't know who that lady was, but Michael Sala, he's pretty deep into like exopolitics. Actually, I think he's the guy that came up with
that's the
term.
thing. They were talking about the Galactic Federation and the hierarchy and all that stuff. It's like
there's lots of hierarchy when you're dealing with the Mantis.
There's hierarchy everywhere. Everybody's got to have a boss.
But it seems kind of uniform, and I don't know if it's a copycat thing. But what I see is that a lot of people are saying the same thing, where like the Mantids are in charge. They're in charge of like hybrid breeding.
Well, Spencer, that means it's real.
Yeah, well, I mean, how could hundreds of abductees be wrong?
Corroboration.
Either that, or they all made it up.
No,
or
this stuff
copied
doesn't
each
happen
other
in a vacuum.
No, it doesn't. That's
real.
my. I'm leaning into this.
I'm actually seen the Brack show with Zorak.
Yeah,
the big fucking mandibles on their face.
Did you watch the real ones with their mandibles?
Yeah.
And, like, eating hummingbirds. And
I
shit?
am Mulder. Like, I want to believe.
Yeah.
Okay. On this anyway. There's a lot of shit I don't want to believe.
Big bugs.
And I've had pet mantis. When you get up close and watch their little mouth and then they tilt their head at you and look at you while they're eating something, just devouring it, and their whole the mandibles moving.
They're constantly.
They've got
it's not like one mouth going up, down, up, down. It's like two different sets, and they're all independently moving and working the fucking meat piece into their mouth.
Yeah, it's almost like an instinctual thing, and like outside of their own thought. You know, like those things are just fucking going.
I forgot what source it was, but someone said that they thought that the predator, its mouth, was based on that.
But it's like a double mantis because it's got the 4 teeth.
I don't know. I think his was kind of vagina based, actually.
Dentata. So, mantis symbolism. We're going to kind of run through mantids. We're going to use mantids.
Mantises.
Insectoids.
Yeah, insectoids. We're going to run through some of what we know about them here on Earth. Kind of keep it grounded before we get into the real outrageous shit. So, mantis symbolism, myth, folklore, spirituality, mysticism, etc. These guys are all entrenched in that shit. As a matter of fact, the word iatromantis is from the Greek mantis, meaning physician or seer or shaman, and probably the most direct translation would be medicine man. And they used to be considered psychopomps. They are people who could sort of take you into another world, and they practiced a technique called incubation, where they would go to like a sacred place and sleep there. And it was supposed to incorporate dreams from that place and sort of like play on the mind, etc. But mantids. That's gonna okay.
Mantises.
Mantises. They're incorporated into all kinds of spirituality, all kinds of religion from way back in the day. They frequently, super
carvings,
ancient.
paintings.
Yeah, that one I sent I'm looking at right now, the one from Iran.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of that painting that you sent was kind of nebulous, but the hook, the arms, that's what's
unmistakable.
The big giveaway. Yeah,
unmistakable.
I mean, there's nothing else like that.
Yeah,
they appear frequently in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which has possibly been attributed to hallucinogenic plant drugs, which we'll get into a little bit later. But the old school Buddhist martial arts would watch and mimic animals for fighting styles. So you have the mantis fighting style.
Tiger style.
Yes, exactly. The ancient Iranian Mesopotamian petroglyphs, the Australian Aboriginal Wandjina, I think I'm saying that right, cave paintings. You have the Hopi Indians and their stories of the ant people who live underground. There's also, and this is more of a pop culture throwout, but if anyone out there has not seen it, there's an awesomely weird and obscure 80s movie called Meet the Applegates about a family of giant mantises who pretend to be a suburban family.
Wait, I don't think I've seen that one.
Every year, Family Bazaar consults the U.S. Census Update. You and your family have been chosen by our publication as the most normal family in America.
Johnny, eat some more sugar. You're still growing.
The people who brought you Heathers would like you to meet the Applegates.
Okay, crawlers, rise and mutate.
Applegate, Jane, age 38, occupation homemaker. I met my husband at Maryland University, where I majored in home economics.
I happened to find a pile of rancid trash.
Hunting for bargains, Jane? Applegate, Sally, born Baltimore, 1971, Scorpio. I enjoy swimming, chicken McNuggets, and gymnastics. Kiss on the second date.
Whoa, time out. Such a tasty new neighbor. Applegate Johnny, hobbies include science, baseball, and, heavy metal music.
Do you think we're jeopardizing the mission by bringing the children along?
No, good for image, Jane.
They're the typical American family,
Census Bureau records now list the Applegates as hitting every statistical norm right on the nose.
with typical family problems
What do you think about putting down that brochure and doing a little mating?
You know we're not in season.
at home.
Sally, what happened to your stomach?
I've got a bun in the oven.
Meet the Applegate kids, a couple of losers!
Parents are pigs.
Home.
At the store,
All you've done is spend money.
I'm just trying to act like a normal American housewife.
at the office,
This is a nuclear power plant, not a cat house.
You're a disgrace to your species.
There goes the neighborhood.
it would be easy for them to fit in
Something really weird about that family.
if they could only get the bugs out.
Sonic bug repellent. It drives those little creatures bonkers.
Ed Begley Jr., Stockard Channing, and Dabney Coleman as Aunt Bee.
You homo sapien scum!
They wouldn't harm a fly. Bingo.
Meet the Applegates.
It's got Ed Begley Jr., and that's the only famous person.
I don't.
I
think
love it. EBG,
Who
yeah.
the fuck was Ed Begley Jr.?
He's the guy who had Propecia on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
You mean alopecia?
Or wait, no, that was
Alopecia.
Propecia is the medicine.
Oh, okay. No, wait, that was fuck. The show with Job and all of them.
So
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Arrested Development.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the one.
I was about to say, he wasn't on Curb.
So yeah, if you can find it, check it out. It is a weird one. It's got a very overt, heavy-handed environmentalist message to it, but I mean, it was made in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, and also, honorable mention goes to Zorak.
Yes.
From
Mm-hmm.
Space Ghost,
Oh, yeah,
Coast to
of course.
Coast and the Brack Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
He's a mean fella.
but hilarious. C. Martin Croker,
Yeah.
good voice actor. Mantis physiology. This is where we get into some of the weirder shit. So, mantids are known for having kind of like octopoids, in that octopi they have several brains throughout their body. Mantids have neurons all throughout their body.
Huh?
So this also plays
You're talking about the
into-
actual insect right now.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
yeah. Our earthbound ones.
Yeah.
Because this is going to play into a possible evolutionary offshoot idea
Okay.
type thing
Right.
going on. So they have 3D vision, which is a evolutionary offshoot all its own. Like, apparently creationists have used this as a sort of argument or example of, everything's made specifically to order by God. But they also have, because of this 3D like vision that they have, that they can sort of better adapt it to hunting and sort of I don't know. There's been this like long time sort of folkloric myth or legend about mantises being able to hypnotize their prey. It's not true,
But
but
I've watched. They do a little sway motion.
Yeah.
I had one that I kept in an aquarium. I
Like
think
a
I had.
metronome.
I think I had it for like a year. And it would do that. It would just do the little sway thing.
well, basically, advanced forms of camouflage and mimicry
Of
in
grass.
nature.
You're looking like grass in
Yeah.
the wind.
Yeah, and mantises there's so many different kinds, and there's some that look exactly like the environment. Yeah.
Leaves
Yeah.
and flowers and plants. And then they have the one with the eyes on. They can put their arms up and it looks like eyes looking at you.
Yeah, the one that looks just like an orchid.
Or an owl. Yeah, orchids or owl faces too.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very
yeah, that like those like advanced forms of camouflage and mimicry. That's referred to as crypsis. So they have advanced forms of crypsis, and yes, the movements they make. They don't necessarily hypnotize their prey, but they're very good at blending into their surroundings to almost becoming invisible as far as prey is concerned.
You got the stick ones.
Yeah.
Those are a mantis.
And the leaf kind. Leaf kind. Between their crypsis abilities and their 3D vision, they've also got, and this also, I assume, incorporates all the neurons throughout their body, but super advanced sort of directional / spatial orientation. So this is going to play into a theory I have later about weird mantis evolution as far as these things being cryptids / aliens or whatever, and how they can move about through time or time and space, we'll say, but we'll get to that. So they kind of are in a, I want to say category, not all their own, but they're very much considered to be a stand aside from nature in the same aspect as octopi because they're so unique and weird.
Yeah,
basically. Alien,
it's the head tilt. That's what they do. The new
Yeah,
metal head
180
tilt.
degrees,
They do the new metal head tilt, but it's also they tilt it like new metal style. But then they also do the horror movie like slow head tilt where they acknowledge you when the monster's eating and killing somebody and you walk up on them and then the monster slowly acknowledges you're there.
It's like when you chop off the bad guy's arm and he goes
yeah, and it's so slow, like, because they don't give a fuck. They know they could fuck you up, so they just slowly look at you like, oh yeah, you're next, motherfucker.
Super fast too.
Oh yeah,
fucking these motherfuckers are fast.
Powerful. Yeah.
So yeah, like bees, there may be also in that their whole swaying thing. They've thought that there may be in the way that also octopi sort of use movement as a communication, and bees do with dancing. Some people think that there might be science types think that there might be a analogous sort of thing going on there. They've mostly been associated with spirituality and shit like that because they are the praying mantis, etc.
Well, I've seen it spelled both ways, praying and praying, like a hunter and prey, and also a religion praying.
I don't know. I'm still hung up on bees dancing. I was trying to come up with a bees like a bee walk. I was like, is that a joke? Like, you know,
is this where you just go in a circle over and over again? They just like walk around in circles on the hive.
The main thing that they're mostly known for, however, is, as we mentioned earlier, I believe, sexual cannibalism. That might have been off mic. But this whole rigmarole with the sexual cannibalism actually has a lot of natural, genetic, lottery winner kind of aspects to it, in that they did experiments with these various mantis, these female mantids, and they gave them different diets. So, like, the ones that were less fed threw out more pheromones in trying to basically, like, okay, I'm not eating shit. I'm just going to throw everything I have, all my energy, into throwing out pheromones to attract a mate, because they know that they can eat the mate if necessary.
Yeah, see, my thought on that was, is it because they've evolved to... They're about to be loading up on eggs, and they need any kind of nutrients they can get.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're going to shoot your load in me, and I'm going to eat you so that your load will grow healthy.
Yeah, it's all about caloric intake for the
nurturing the load.
And replacing and nurturing the load.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And baby mantises are called nymphs, which is also kind of weird. It's kind of the...
Are there other things called nymphs?
I think that's
a
general insectoid kind of thing.
Like... because it's like kids or goats and, you know, fucking whatever.
The extra added bonus for eating a mate, or at least ripping their head off and eating it during the act
mate
of
usually
copulation.
likes it if you give them a little eating, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like it rough.
They go and fucking explode extra more. So it's more of a spasmodic death throes.
Yeah, they
kind of
hump
thing.
harder once the head's cut off.
And they can keep fucking with their heads off. So
yeah,
I let
and
you
doing
know.
other things too. After their heads cut off, they can still dance and like stand up and walk for a certain amount of time.
Just like
and
every
it's
man.
all- yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because what you said about the neurons and the brain kind of cells that are in all the limbs, you know, it can move independently for a certain amount of time.
And I don't know if we mentioned this already on air or not, but they also have been known to eat birds, frogs, lizards, minnows, prey that is much larger.
They
than
get
them.
big. They get pretty big. I mean, I think 6 to 8 inches. I think the largest one I saw was like a foot, like some Chinese giant mantis.
Holy shit!
I think that's I'll have to double check my
It's
facts.
like they always say, everything's bigger in China.
Is that what they say?
It's new to me.
What? What?
We got any listeners in China? No, it's fine.
Wait. What? Real quick, let me read this. The largest species of praying mantis in the newly discovered mega mantis, which is larger than previously largest species. Denitka from Taxodera denticulata from Java, Peru and Bolivia. Chinese mantis is next. Where are the goddamn measurements? Well, the third largest is 110
It's a size
millimeters.
13 shoe.
110 millimeters long. Spencer, what's our conversion rate? About 6 inches.
3 centimeters is roughly an inch.
From a map to... Never mind.
30, so that's
What?
something like that. Anyway, continue.
Good callback. Someone caught that.
7.8 inches. I'm sorry, it's not a
Jeez.
foot, but 7.8 inches.
I mean,
that's
over half.
That's bigger. That's
bigger
bigger than
than
the
mine.
average American size.
bigger
You know
than
what I'm
my
saying?
mantis.
Yeah, it's bigger than. Yeah, for sure.
So now getting into the alien and more weird aspects of it, the ancient aliens, ufology, abductions, encounters. These mantis beings are predominantly referred to as overseers because in the vast majority of abduction accounts where these things have been seen or encountered, they are basically the boss of gray aliens who are doing all the medical bullshit and, extracting semen and eggs, etc., while the mantis beings are watching and making sure everything is done to HIPAA certifications or what have you. That's another weird thing is that people get a lot of, doctor vibes off these things. And the
Clinical.
reoccurring... What's up?
Clinical.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Dr.
overseas.
Bug, according to Terry Lovelace, the
I caught,
Devil's Den guy.
and as I addressed before, they seem to be cucks. They like to watch.
Yeah.
That was Huggins.
Huggins, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like I
we'll
always
get to
say,
that.
I'm not a cuck. I just like to make sure everything's getting done right.
Yeah, I think that it is what he was doing. Or he, she, they. Now, males and females, I guess we know if they eat the head, which one it is at that point.
Who's wearing the pants around here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Robes.
Right, yes,
I
they
think
wear robes.
sewing pants with 4 legs is probably difficult. 4 legs.
It's twice as difficult
and
as pants.
They did it in that
do you
Addams
call that?
Family
An
movie.
What is the
thorax.
Thorax.
Actually, also, I'm glad you mentioned thorax because Earth mantids have what's called a cycloptic ear in the middle of their chest.
Say what?
Yeah. So when you fuck with them, if things are relatively quiet, you can always hear like a hiss come from a mantis, and that's them expelling air out of the cycloptic ear in the middle of their chests, which is also makes them just
So it's kind of like a queef.
freaky, crazy, weird. Yeah, a cyclops queef. So there's, I'm forgetting what we mentioned off air or not, but I think a lot of the mantid shit, there might be a lot of misidentification with some of this stuff because I've heard people say that they can't really differentiate between reptilian or insectoid or gray. So there might be a lot of...
I can understand reptilian and the mantid, but grays are,
Well, no,
tall grays.
A tall gray could look reptilian a bit, but I think it's the big eyes.
Yeah, that's a common trait.
Yeah, and head shape or head size.
Yeah, because reptiles, I mean, I guess reptiles kind of have big eyes, but not really. Not compared. Like reptiles, you look at lizards, they're pretty average. I got my dragon in there. His eyes look.
Go get your dragon.
They look relative to. He's asleep right now.
Hold him up to the mic so people can hear his eyes.
You can hear it when it shits. I've heard that before. Yeah, it's gross. But his eyes are relative to the shape of his head. So
there's and see, like with gray aliens, there's always the whole hypnotic staring in the eyes thing. So I think that's another huge factor with these mantis aliens. But it seems that most people, like I said, they get that weird, like, medical, clinical feeling off of them. And when we get into the DMT stuff, the reoccurring theme with these mantis beings is that they usually perform some kind of psychedelic brain surgery on people, which sounds fucking terrifying. But at the same time, like we said, they're doctors, basically, as far as people can tell or interpret the trip. Essentially.
I know what I'm doing. I'm a mantis doctor.
Trust me, I'm a mantis doctor. Mantis Toboggan, MD. So yeah, there's...
Do you concur?
So there's a lot of misrepresentation or misidentification of good or evil. People are mostly swaying towards the good side. However, there are factions of people who have encountered these things, and they say that the mantis aliens are the ones in charge of the whole psychotronic near-death experience, soul harvesting, aspect of fucking alien abduction. So it's already been said that they're in charge of the entire breeding process or hybridization process. However, when you get into the weird aspects of soul harvesting or harvesting of loosh, which is some kind of life force, psychic mojo of sorts.
Here comes the loosh.
Spoojaloosh. So yeah. Conversely,
that's some Diddy shit right there.
Incidentally,
there's also lots of incidents of people being healed by these things. There's actually a book by a guy, I think his name's Preston Dennett, who has like 300 different cases, not all mantis related, but people who had injuries and illnesses and were eventually abducted by aliens and then healed and shit went away. So I'm still checking into that one. I don't know how far you can go into, let's say, backing that up without medical file access.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they have the same thing as most grays, the control of human consciousness and all the similarities between near-death experiences with alien abductions. A lot of people have talked about or mentioned that the mantis beings will generally try to mentally broadcast or telepathically insinuate good vibes into people's heads when they're freaking the fuck out during their anal probe. They've gotten a lot
Just relax.
Yeah. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like I don't know. People give these aliens a bad rap, and I'm not saying they're good guys, but my personal viewpoint is that they're like space veterinarians. Think of every time you take your dog or cat or what have you to the vet, they're freaking the fuck out, obviously, but it's all for their own good.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
So, yeah, they get these feminine energies off of them, which goes back to the whole, like, oh, fuck, don't, cannibal fuck me. But,
not cannibal fuck.
But also, apparently, there are, in the same way as there are gray alien human hybrids and the tall whites, there are apparently mantis human hybrids, and they are referred to as the tall blacks. Insert your own joke.
Should you be saying that?
Yeah.
Kobe. So the tall blacks actually, like, there's a whole cryptid subdivision of these weird stick figure monsters that people have seen, and that's what that sounds like. Kind of an overlap, I suppose. There is also what was that lady's name? Amaria. Yeah, she says that these things exist from a 3rd to 9th dimensional density. Who are we to argue? So with cryptid encounters,
more than 3, less than 9.
Yeah, with cryptid encounters, these things. It's weird that the whole insectoid motif sort of plays over with the entire alien narrative, and that if you look into the similarities between the abduction narrative and people being abducted by fairies and elves that they all have insectoid wings. So they think there's some analogous, once again, maybe misidentification of some sort going on.
Yeah, or it could be like a psychic ingrown fear. You know, like I was reading stuff about like how these mantises could be like an iteration of the trickster.
Yes, yeah.
You know, where it's like a psychic phenomenon almost, and you know, so people, it's like in Ghostbusters where it says choose the form of your destroyer. You know, where you think of the creepiest thing you can, and that's where it's going to be.
Well,
not to say that it's not real, but
no, yeah.
it could be manifesting using your mind.
All throughout, I want to say all throughout, like human
people are
history,
afraid of bugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like the closest or best representation of the other that we have because they're so alien to us. As far as like a cryptid approach to this goes, I guess people have seen mantis men without necessarily being in the midst of an abduction experience.
How dare they assume the gender?
Didn't mean to misgender.
Mantis people.
They've seen these things. Once again, the idea of intense or very complicated crypsis abilities with these things, they've possibly been misconstrued with other cryptids, such as the Glimmer Man, which, if you've ever seen Predator, when he uses the, Alakazam, here I am.
Yeah, he looks like those eye floaties kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like...
The, what do you call it? The magic eye posters and shit. Like, people say, and this is also with DMT a lot, too. People say that these things just sort of, like, you could be looking at a flat, two-dimensional surface, and then everything turns 3D as a fucking mantis comes out, is the best way I've heard it described,
See,
at least.
the DMT mantis stuff, like I was telling y'all earlier, off air, is what makes me kind of believe it, because, like, I did DMT in, I don't know, it was about 2009, 15 years ago, and...
Trendsetter.
Yep, I guess. Yeah, I did it before Joe Rogan, okay? It was my first time, I did it, and fucking I saw the little gnomes. I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, I'm just tripping balls. But then later on, I read about all the accounts of people seeing the little fucking gnomes.
Yeah, what is it about that drug that makes you...
That's so weird that so many people can have the exact same experience.
There's like a handful of different entities that all, like, they're all the same reports.
Does DMT put you on, make it where you can see that other fucking realm, that other dimension?
I saw Fractal Cartmans.
Fractal Cartmans?
Yeah.
I was
watching
DMT.
South Park at the time.
Well, yeah.
When I did salvia, like the one time it really got me good, I went to some carnival realm, but I didn't see any of the like weird harlequins and clowns that people are always talking about. I didn't encounter entities or whatever.
Kind of similar thing with salvia too. What is it about that? Like certain drugs bring about certain, like in a vacuum almost.
It's like archetypal or something. It's like built into the human subconscious, unconscious, whatever you want to call it.
Let's look into that later.
Yeah. So I, for a long time, have had my own weird little theory about these mantis beings, any insectoid beings, as part of or byproduct of a separate evolutionary, let's say, shadow biosphere is what they would call it, I guess, in biology. And, animal studies. What's animal studies? Biology.
Animology.
Animology. So taking the idea that these beings have these hypercrypsis abilities, and then what you were saying, I forget how many episodes back, but certain animals have the natural ingrown ability to fucking know, like, where north is, or like
vestigial sensory.
It's like magnetic crystals or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like
yeah.
All right.
To use the scientific
term.
I
mean it was like a
all right, like Sonoma, calm down.
Compass in your brain that would anyway.
Yeah, like how birds know to go north, etc.
Yeah.
See,
there is a sensory organ for that.
If I'm getting really tripped out here, I think that these entities, whatever you want to call them, if we're going on like potential ideas of how these things can move around and like basically be in two places at once, or like you see them and then they're gone, other than like intensely complex crypsis abilities, perhaps they have some sort of all the neurons in their body and some sort of advanced form of those sort of crystals. Maybe they not only have a sort of advanced spatial reasoning, but add the dimension of time as well, and maybe they can sort of move between, I don't know, 4 dimensions. Who knows? That's just acid head talk, basically. But it's something to maybe consider.
David Lynchian, yeah.
Oh, and David Lynch, yeah. Supposedly David Lynch knows all about these things because throughout, throughout Twin Peaks, there's a soap opera that plays in the background called Invitation to Love, which the Greek word for it is like Aphrodite something. But apparently that's the name of a certain mantis genus. That's take that with a grain of salt. These aren't the only, I mean, we were going to kind of cover insectoid grab bag, basically. But the more we were looking into mantis shit.
Mostly just fucking mantises.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you do have, like, the ant people or whatever, but you don't really hear a lot about that shit. And then, I don't know, I found random insectoid shit, but it doesn't really, I don't know, there's Mothman, other various DMT entities. People have seen, like, wasp-type entities. There's also the cryptid conspiracy of the organic black helicopters. Have y'all heard of that shit?
Organic? No.
What? No.
That basically what people are identifying as black helicopters are sort of like biomechanical bugs, and they're the ones that are doing all the cattle mutilation shit. They're like feeding off these things.
Okay.
So, yeah. But let's get into the DMT stuff, because this is where things become...
Have you ever done DMT?
You want to?
It's awesome.
Whoosh.
It's just great.
It's just all the clips of Joe Rogan say, have you ever tried DMT?
Here, Terrence Howard,
I don't
try
know,
this.
man. Have you ever tried DMT?
You're not weird enough yet. So DMT trips, interdimensional insectoids, and insectoid intelligence archetypes.
Dirty monkey turds for the layman.
Dimitri.
That's
as they call it
poetic,
on the
actually.
drug boards.
We're leaving the dirty monkey turds behind and going into the future. But we're going, we don't need dirty monkey turds. So, entomophobia, like we said earlier, the phobia of insects, this is like built into people. It's been like the constant...
Evolutionary. It's like being afraid of rats.
Yeah. It's like the small thing that when you're busy looking out for the fucking saber-toothed tiger, you're not looking for the insects that are potentially poisonous or detrimental to your health.
And they prey on you.
Mm-hmm. Praying mantis. So, according to this psychonaut, and I guess he's a psychoanalytic therapist and also is into weird breathing therapies. But this guy, Stanislav Grof, he's sort of like a foreign version of Timothy Leary, but he's gone through and he especially concentrated on bad trips and the imagery that people see on bad trips and sort of codified all these things. And insects are, like we said, very much associated with the otherness of just non-humanity. People just are instinctually scared of them. He talks about when people see things like bees, for example, seem to be related to reproduction and pregnancy because their role in the transfer of pollen and fertilization of plants, as well as their ability to cause swelling in humans. Flies, as a result of their affinity for excrement and their propensity to spread infection, are associated with the scatological aspect of birth. And yes, this is very
Scatological,
much...
the word?
Yeah.
Like shit related?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shit concerning...
Yeah, this is... this dude, relates a lot of traumatic, bad trip imagery and shit, that's, once again, reoccurring, like with DMT stuff. Like, he found all this same sort of reoccurring imagery, and he equates it all back to, traumatic birth experiences. So everything bad trip-related can somehow or another be brought back to that. But speaking of psychonauts, probably the most well-known psychonaut that has encountered these mantis beings would be Terrence McKenna. For those who don't know...
Oh, I didn't know he did them, too.
Yeah. He, well, technically it wasn't him. It was his lady friend. In March of 1971, Terrence McKenna saw a UFO during his stay at La Chorrera in the upper Amazon, where he was studying DMT and psychedelic mushrooms with a group of colleagues and fellow seekers.
That is where he
That was
brought
71.
I know
Wow.
that's when he brought back the genetics for the most popular mushroom strain, penis envy.
Really?
Very nice.
Did he name it that?
Him and I can't remember the co-creator's name, but there was or I don't know. Yeah, they named it that because it looked like a big old ding dong, you know?
It does.
Maybe it was his brother's.
Circumcised.
It really does. It really, really does.
It says McKenna was surprised to find himself both terrified and fascinated as he heard and watched the thing, quote unquote, approach him and then overfly him at low altitude. He says, I heard a high-pitched, ululating whine come drifting over the jungle treetops, obviously from the direction of the thing I was watching. I tried to shout to people back at the house, but no sound came out from my fear-constricted throat. Its details seemed to solidify as it approached. Then it passed directly overhead at an altitude of about 200 feet, banked steeply upward, and was lost from sight over the edge of the slope behind me. In the last moment before it was lost, I completely threw open my senses to it and saw it very clearly. It was a saucer-shaped machine, rotating slowly, with unobtrusive, soft blue and orange lights. As it passed over me, I could see symmetrical indentations on the underside. It was making a wee sound
all the way home
of science fiction flying saucers. It was, if you ask me, and there is no one else really that one can ask, either a holographic mirage of a technical perfection impossible on Earth today, or it was a manifestation of something which in that instance chose to begin as a mist and as a machine, but which could have appeared in any form, a manifestation of a humorous something's omniscient control over the world of form and matter. This very same day that this happened, that they saw this UFO, his, I guess, girlfriend at the time, she started going into like the throes of a bad trip or whatever, and the UFO came back, and they saw that
she like really killed the vibe.
the UFO came back, and they saw the pilots of this thing, and the best way that McKenna could describe them was hyperspace pirates. And they were mantises made of light, like neon light.
Down.
So this sounds very much like most of the DMT
It makes me
trip
think,
stuff.
like thinking about this, and like especially if these creatures are sentient and they can read your mind. You think, and I wonder, do they have feelings? Do they like? They're like, oh, this guy thinks he's appalled at my appearance. Oh man, like are we given alien complexes all the time about their appearance because like all these people are freaked out?
That's
and
why
the
they don't come.
And the aliens could read their mind, and they're like, oh
we think
man,
they're uggos.
oh man, like he really thinks I'm that frightening.
I think they're,
I'm the hottest guy in my alien school.
Yeah, voted most likely to make egg sacs everywhere.
Yeah.
That's cute looking.
Yeah, the ones that are waving and they got their little ass flags up.
So the DMT encounters, people have also made a lot of hay on seeing reptilian entities as well when this happens, but they're usually like made of jewels and jewel encrusted and things like that. So I think that probably takes some of the sting off of
sparkly.
Yeah, of how strange and just oddly alien these things are. Now, as mentioned earlier, I've got a Mantis alien biography according to Amaria, the Chandler.
It's not an autobiography.
Unless she's a deep cover Mantis lady. Amaria the Chandler from soulsalight.com. According to her and the information she's come up with, I'm so glad we could find an authority on Mantis aliens.
I found a few, actually. A lot of people were really sure about what they were talking about.
Yeah, that's how you know they're right.
Yeah.
She says that their place of origin is the Sombrero Galaxy, or M104.
Yeah, I've heard that Sombrero Galaxy mentioned a
that
couple of
was
times in all this.
That's the lady?
The lady who drew the paint.
The Nickelbacks.
Negumac have the power to wipe out the reptilian race from existence, and the Federation of Worlds is trying to figure out how to win their alliance.
Oh, I don't know if it's the same lady. I didn't catch her name.
I think she was said Sombrero too.
See?
The one who drew
See?
The one about like the tubes of light, and she drew paintings, right?
No, Huggins was the guy that did the
No,
painting.
there's a lady too.
Oh, okay.
I
it's
didn't
in
see
that
any.
second book.
I didn't see any paintings on her site. Like Souls of Light is all her site. The woman on the Michael Sala interview, I didn't catch her name. We'll throw all that into the notes. Let's see. Under appearance, she says these are insectoid beings that have features similar to the praying mantis insects of Earth, but they stand upright and are at least 8 to 9 feet tall. Nightmare. Higher dimensional forms are energy beings that maintain their mantis shape with colorful light. So this also kind of plays into what Terrence McKenna's lady friend was seeing as well. These beings are evolved hundreds of millions of years ago on a planet of insects. They became the first to develop advanced self-awareness. They developed the use of tools, but in unison they became highly sensitive to sound and light, which that plays into Earth mantis physiology as well. Very, very much sensitive to sound. Oh yeah, and one of our main sources that I'm pulling a lot of stuff from too is Closer Encounters by Jason Rezza-Giorgiani. Get it, read it. It's the most concise Nazi UFO. Nazis or Nordics UFO conspiracy I've ever seen laid out. Does it real well. So mantis alien qualities, sensitive to sound, color, and vibrational forces, luminous, spiritual, healers, graceful, fluid, artistic, penetrating, influential. Basically, from
Big
what,
doms.
yeah, from what I could tell, this woman essentially, it's like she took the whole Thetan idea from Scientology and turned it into zodiac signs almost.
Yeah, they got a little weird. Spencer pulled up the just mantis alien art on the and there is a lot, and I did want to give a shout out to the David Huggins art. His little stories and paintings of all his stuff. Do you have that coming up in there?
I do, yeah.
It's,
okay.
It gets kind of hot.
And also we do have to give at least
Crescent, am I right?
Yeah. I believe the aliens from Aliens, those are insectoids, right? I believe they're insect aliens.
They sure look like it.
They're not manti.
They're Giger things.
But they're Giger things.
Yeah,
but
image influence. Yeah,
they're very insect-like. They're not reptile. They're not any other kind of alien. They're kind of insects.
And there is, in fact, a specific mantis alien action figure, and I used to have that back in the day.
There it is right here.
Yeah.
Bam.
Pretty badass.
That is pretty. You had that?
Yeah.
What'd you do with it?
It's probably in the attic somewhere.
Blew it up.
Get it!
We gotta go in your attic, man.
But there's all kinds of sad
all
things
kinds
up
of
there.
raccoon shit up in there.
And all the old porno books his mom read.
Oh.
Harlequin romance novels, please.
Porno books. His throbbing meat member. Oh my God. Let's do
plunged into my sex
pudding.
Oh, I mean, I guess it's already been done. The Harlequin mantis sex stories.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's any kind like they have from for dinosaurs and Slender Man, anything.
People like fucking things that they can't fuck, I guess.
Yeah, and then of course we all
34.
know about the alien dildo things that put little silicone eggs inside.
Oh
yeah,
you know, so they can feel like they're impregnated. Like it actually has a detachable thing where like they stick it inside them and then they squeeze the balls and it lays eggs inside. What? So you feel the sensation of like rocks.
Wait,
inside
so
file that under things I never needed to know.
So it comes with like weird little caviar type shit that you can fill it up with.
Yeah, but it's more like eggs, like
anal
egg
beads.
Size, like
I think it's beads.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like Benoit balls, but it has the dildo.
He gave them the formal name.
Have you ever heard of Benoit technology?
Yeah, it's a guy that
murdered his whole fucking family.
Yeah, murdered his
right?
family. That guy. I didn't know he was an engineer of sex toys.
Yeah. Yeah, because some women like they have a fetish of being implanted by alien.
Oh, I've seen the literature.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The literature.
Yeah. Rule 34, man. Anything you can think of, it's out there. There's also a lot of blow up doll, let's say, adjacent companions of an alien nature.
You ever seen a? Well, no.
They got real girl aliens?
Basically, yeah. I mean, they're not that quality. Well, actually, the real girl people, they make like elves and shit and whatnot.
That's
from like Middle
weird.
Earth or whatever.
That's fucking.
You know
for
what?
J.D. Vance and his cronies.
That's I need to start a new career. Like I would be a great like pubic hair placer, like on these sex dolls. You know, it's like
you got the little diamond ring,
the loop,
jewel
the
loop.
jeweler's loop. Yeah, I mean, no one could lay pubes better than me.
It's hard work, but it's honest work.
Yeah.
He's the best pube guy in the business.
It's a
we
labor
gotta
of
get him.
love.
The Mantis beings are masters with vibrations and sound and color. That's funny.
After our current
nice
conversation.
segue. They use this mastery to heal and create. They are artists of universal light. They dance through frequencies and alter their surroundings as they do so. Mantis beings create bubble-like force fields to travel through time and space. In lower dimensions, they create living spherical ships of light. So orbs might be a mantis. You might be a mantis alien. In higher dimensions,
if you travel around in a giant ball of light, you might just be a mantis.
And they can send their light bodies in single bubbles of light across the universe.
Bubble.
Yeah,
like Bubble Boys.
This Amaria woman, she gets real into this shit. I don't know where, I mean, she got all this from channeling, apparently, but there's a selected Mantis alien guide for humanity by the name of Kismet with a Z, so they must be extreme. But outside of, we'll throw the Souls of Light link in there as well, because it's got a lot of, I guess, what you'd call certainties of Mantis alien physiology, attitudes, etc. What it is they're trying to accomplish. Most of them, like we said, are overseers of the whole breeding program. Whereas if you have the people who think they're evil, they're the soul harvesting loosh eaters, etc.
Loosh?
Yeah, loosh is what's that guy's name? Robert Monroe, the guy who came up with the Hemisync, where you listen to music.
That's what's in a Dodge, right?
the guy who came up with the
Hemisync intakes.
You listen to these tapes of like binaural beats, basically, and it's supposed to like synchronize your brain hemispheres, and it helps you leave your body, like astral travel or whatever.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
So I got a couple of, I mean, if you look at the internet, there are Mantis encounter stories all over the fucking place. It is saturated. But I found a couple mostly harvested from the original source that I mentioned earlier, Jason Reza Giorgiani's Closer Encounters, because he mentions how these Mantis apparitions, we'll say, are technically in his purview. He sees them as sort of embodiments of the trickster aspect of the supernatural, and that they may prove to be our greatest ally when the Nazi UFOs come after disclosure and try to enslave us all.
There was,
Yeah, go on.
There was the one with the...
That's a long and short of it.
The Nazi Antarctica planet kind of thing, and then the Mantis was there was one...
There could be anything in Antarctica, because, you know, the Pangea thing, like, Antarctica used to be like a tropical region, you know?
Don't even get me started, Spencer.
That's where the ice wall is.
Oh,
the ice wall,
let me get you started.
The pyramids, the fucking, all that stuff down there that we don't know about. Operation High Jump. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
There's all that no-fly zone bullshit going on there. So, yeah. Blacked out parts on
but
Google
also,
Earth.
If you fly a plane over Antarctica, chances are it could freeze up and cause...
Yeah. And also geomagnetic disturbances as well.
Yeah, but they do it. It's just not as often. And, like, they don't just let your average bear go out there on a fucking trip to Antarctica. You have to get permits and shit.
Yeah. A right to bear arms. Because they have bear arms.
Right to arm bears?
Yeah. What the bears pay the bear tax. I
down.
pay the Homer tax.
I don't believe
Picnic basket?
we should take the arms away from the bears.
No, they should totally keep their arms.
Yes.
And also be heavily loaded with machine guns, etc.
Absolutely.
So the first U.S. government UFO crash retrieval was not the incident near Roswell in the summer of 1947. It was actually an incident that occurred 2 years earlier on August 16th, 1945, on the grounds of the Trinity test site in New Mexico. This is exactly 1 month after the first American atomic bomb had been tested there on July 16th.
August 8th or 10th? Was August 10th was the... I just know that those bombs were called the bombs of August. And so Little Man and Fat Boy.
Yeah. Yes, those were August.
Little fat man boy.
Over in Japan, forcing the Japanese to surrender by August 14th, 1945.
They were going to surrender anyways.
Yeah,
anyways.
probably. Totally.
Yeah, but they really surrendered after that.
We already had the bombs.
That was Truman's Illuminati mass sacrifice, but that's another episode. So before the army could arrive at the crash site, Jose Padilla and Remy Baca, I'm probably butchering that name, the children of local ranchers, witnessed the crash and walked to the site where the object had cut and burned a huge gouge into the ground as it came down. Padilla and Baca got a good look at the beings who exited the avocado, quote-unquote, shaped metallic object.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
They come out and say, yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah.
What was this? The Kecksburg UFO. It looked like a big walnut. There were little creatures, quote-unquote, that looked like, no, I'm probably going to butcher this too, Campamochas? As Remy explains, like, heck, a bug, praying mantis, emphasis added. He went on to explain to UFO researcher Paola Harris that their heads were comparable to Campamochas, big, bulgy eyes, 4 foot tall, and they were real thin, needle-thin arms. They slid instead of walking or running, which I've heard in a lot of other cases where these aliens don't really move right.
But that's weird. They have 4 legs and 2... have we, what's the right terminology for their arm things?
Quadruped?
No, they have 4 legs, but if you look at this photo...
It's raptorial something.
It's, okay, because it's like pincers, but they're still arms, because they can pinch with them, but they can also reach out. Like, look at that guy. Like, we're looking at that image, and he looks like he's, like, trying to paint something on the ceiling.
That's the other thing I meant to look for. There's a crazy fungus that is affecting...
It's a parasite. It's a
Earth mantis. That's it's like that movie where the fungus makes zombies or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's
a cordyceps.
Cordyceps, yeah. The cordyceps. I saw that. It wasn't mantis though.
Those bees and
or
not bees.
I saw a spider.
Spiders and ants, like larger ants. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like the fungus makes them climb up to high branches.
Yeah.
So birds will
so
eat
that
them.
when the spores finally pop out of their head, they'll be dispersed in a wider area.
It's
like,
crazy.
Fucking crazy.
There's lots of conspiracy theories about toxoplasmosis as well. That it's
cat shit.
Yeah, the fungus infection from cat shit, that it overrides our fucking entire behavior complex.
Is that what happened to my aunt?
Maybe. Let's see.
It's not me, it's the toxoplasmosis.
Yeah. Pardon me, I didn't mean to shit all over your floor on account of the toxoplasmosis. So yeah, these kids saw mantis aliens come out of the avocado-shaped craft, and once again, this is a UFO crash retrieval that was before Roswell. Now, there's another fella who has had a run-in with these mantis aliens, and this is a guy we'll probably cover in the future. But his name is Ted Owens, probably better known as the PK Man. He's one of the few instances of a documented psychic human being who had telekinetic abilities, aka he could affect and move objects or affect reality, etc., with his mind. Yeah, they did a bunch of, well, like I said, we'll probably cover him in the future. But they did, like, extensive research into this dude, and... He may have been the real deal, but he says that he obtained these abilities after basically establishing contact with space intelligences that took the form of what he described as grasshopper-like beings. Owen's ability to produce UFO sightings on demand, as well as documented under controlled conditions. He even trained a woman to be able to conjure up these craft. He also wrote a book called How to Contact the Space Beings or something. Like I said,
How to Train a Dragon.
Yeah, it's his story is very interesting. It's something we might cover in the future. But Owens kind of went back and forth between attributing his dramatic PK abilities, psychokinetic, to these entities, and he named them Twitter and Tweeter. This is before the social media platform, claiming that these powers were given to him by these beings. When he was making the latter claims, Owens would say that small creatures resembling grasshoppers insect-like but standing on 2 legs, had searched for centuries to find a human being with his level of capabilities to control matter with his mind alone. They admitted to Owens that they were actually made of light and energy. So once again, and this is like the 50s and 60s that this guy was banging around. So this is sort of keeping in touch with what other people have seen and experienced with these mantis beings. The mantis-like appearance, once again, concerning the trickster, is that Twitter and Tweeter claim to be instruments of a single higher intelligence that was the ultimate control behind the demonstrations of psychokinesis that Owens would demonstrate. Like Native American shamans, Owens would use his ability to hurl lightning bolts down at specific locations, allegedly, without there having been any natural storms. He would form clouds, and eventually he started using his abilities on football games and making a hefty profit from it. So this is another sort of story where, like we mentioned earlier with the DMT trips, that these mantis beings would show up and perform some sort of brain surgery and alter the minds of these people. And this is a reoccurring thing through UFO abduction stories and shamanic trips, where there's some kind of surgery performed on you. Sometimes there's an implant put into these people, etc., that alters them.
One of the encounters
physiologically
I read about, they told her, they told the lady, like, hey, you need to go to a doctor because you have like cancer or something, bro. Like you need to go get checked out.
That your insides are just
yeah,
those
like
bugs put cancer
hey,
in you.
just to let you know, like you probably need to go to a fucking doctor.
This is Dr. Chim Richards. The probably the most
you should get out of the news.
Probably the most insane story out of all the mantis interactions that we've stumbled across. They had to do with this fella by the name of, where's his first name? David Huggins. We mentioned him earlier. He is an artiste who has done quite well for himself. I won't say financially, but in illustrating his story.
He is a big, like, he came up and I loved his stuff. The breastfeeding, because he had intimate encounters.
Righteous.
He was involved with a gray alien human hybridization program.
And, there's another one. Yes, see, look, the mantis is a cuck in the corner.
Yeah, he had a reoccurring hybrid gray girlfriend named Crescent, who they frequently got together and got freaky.
Starting at age 17.
And he lost his virginity.
I mean, this is like
to the gray.
Well, that's what they say.
Alien Lolita kind of thing.
That's what they say. Well, I think it was more of a what's that teacher, Darlie Roudier? Or is that the lady that killed her kids in the bathtub?
Yeah.
I get those two.
We're gonna have to explain all that to anybody that's not from our generation.
Look it up. No, most of these like alien abduction or alien abductees, they say that this stuff starts early in life and it goes all throughout their lives, and most of them don't even know it. They don't have conscious memories of it or remembering of it until they go into, clinical hypnosis, which that's a whole slippery slope and a weird road.
See, that's a lot of that is.
And as we mentioned, I believe, on our Hollywood versus the Aliens episode, some people believe there's an MK Ultra aspect to all the alien abduction shit, that these could actually be the military abducting people, and you have a guy dressed like an alien smoking cigarettes in the corner saying, this is not happening, this is not happening. If you've seen that X-Files episode, you know what I'm talking about. But this is all done with drugs, and these people who go to these hypnotists to be, hypnotically regressed are being further manipulated by government agents, government doctors, etc.
As much as I would like to give credit to a lot of these people, at the same time, I think it is a lot of with the modern problem we're dealing with now, like the encounters in, like, let's say the 90s and 80s and before that, there was a lot of encounters during that time period, supposedly. A lot of people saying they had encounters, a lot of regressive therapy. Anyway, for me, that all that ties in with a lot of now with the people with all the syndromes and all the abuse. Everybody wants to be a victim.
Or I'm special.
Yeah,
that's what.
And when you can't be special for being great, you be special for being fucked up.
Yeah. Well, greatness is hard because it requires you to put in some work.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas,
but anybody could just get abducted and go to a hypnotist.
I was taken aboard a spacecraft.
Yeah. And then he threw the glass dildo at me.
Callback king.
Yeah.
So yeah, David Huggins and his hybrid gray alien Lolita groomer. Let's say groomer. His hybrid alien groomer Crescent.
And he's a boomer.
He was
so
all,
it's a boomer
age
groomer.
ain't
It's a boomer
nothing
groomer
but a
situation.
number.
Or a mathematical frequency.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you are fertile, correct?
There have been numerous occasions, some of which he's captured in his paintings, where the Mantis overseers would watch him from the corner as he and Crescent got busy. So
licking his lips and twinkling his nipples the whole time.
Is that him?
No, yeah, that's him right there. Yeah, that old man right there. And look at that alien, gray alien, butt naked alien with tits.
That's Crescent
and a cooter.
Well, see, Crescent in
his the alien vagina.
In his lore, Crescent was a human gray hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the gray human hybrids are all female. Meant for mating.
Well, yeah.
Really?
As orchestrated by the Mantises.
I mean,
we've gone over this.
Look here. If humans
all fits
had the
together
power
so well
to engineer their own creature, you best believe fucking gonna be in mind.
Well, they say that the whole, like, remember, I guess, like, let's say the early 90s when, quote unquote, heroin chic became the new like hotness for women or whatever, and that's how they were all being portrayed in magazines. That this was part of a secret propaganda campaign put forth by the government to make the, in a roundabout way, the hybrid gray alien women more attractive. And I think there's also sort of a weird big-eyed anime fucking fetish kind of thing going on behind that too.
That's where I'm yucking.
Yeah. Don't mean to yuck your yum, but
yuck.
Yeah, David Huggins paintings. We've thrown some up on the Instagram for the show. Check it out if you.
I'm finally using it.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Yeah, some of them, I don't think they are intended to be, but without him trying, they are quite disturbing. Some of them.
I don't know. I honestly found these mostly wholesome.
Like, yeah, I mean, like...
Okay, so the one where he's sucking the alien tit, there's a baby hanging upside down. An alien hybrid baby being hung upside down next to him. That one was a little disturbing. And that one, okay, scroll back down, Spencer. Back down to where you just were.
See, there's one of
there's a lot of little boys. And that thing, he said he was 17 when he first got fucked, but I think earlier he met them. But yeah, a lot of it being little, and then the alien coming in the door looking all creepy. Wait. Oh, damn, go back to, I didn't, that alien's riding.
Yeah, she's fucking
riding.
That is a hybrid alien cowgirl situation. The thing that I find disturbing about these paintings is they have like this weird childlike quality to them.
Well, he's not that good of an artist.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would buy one of these. Hey, and honestly, shout out to this guy. Go to his website. It's $70. You could get one of these.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, man.
Or at least it's a print.
Okay, see, I didn't notice this earlier, but it's just the alien riding him.
And he's sprawled like a dead body.
Yeah, in the middle of a forest with nothing else. It's just trees.
He's almost in the Elizabeth Short pose.
I want to buy that. I want to get that. I want to buy a print of that. It's going right here in our studio. So we can look at either that or the one where he's sucking on the titty. That one's pretty cool. Except for the baby in the background.
There's a lot of topless hybrid women. Maybe it's just the general vibe of like several gray aliens.
Like, that one looks like the aliens like, yo, can you come out and play? Because the other ones are like other aliens are hanging out outside and the kid's just standing there. And he's like, and I will include more of these.
Is that the one with the baby you're talking about?
On our Instagram. No, the tit sucking one is not here.
Huh. Okay.
I put it on
because it looks like she's holding something.
I put it on there are a few different alien babies, but the one where there was an actual sex act and a baby in the same photo, it is saved on my phone. I will show it to you.
Some of these
y'all can check it out on our Instagram, Kooks and Cranks, Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclast at Instagram.
I think it's Kooks_.
Yeah, and he was such an integral part in this whole.
Not to be mistaken with the old
program.
Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclast Instagram, because that's still there.
Well, what I read about Huggins is that, like, his account is that he was not only chosen to breed hybrid aliens, but he had to parent them too, to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's
oh wait, I thought it was
like
hanging upside down.
The Mantises told him that if he wasn't there to like emotionally parent the child, that they would die.
Yeah, that's a reoccurring thing in this whole hybridization program.
Everybody lives on love.
Yeah, that's interesting because you don't think of an insectoid as a love like when I think of aliens, I don't think of emotions.
Well, that's
like,
the human half.
That was kind of the joke earlier that I made about about the aliens being upset that people think they're so scary and ugly looking when maybe the aliens actually do have emotions, but for what we generally think of is they are autonomous drones, especially because we think of Greys.
Yeah,
they are just drones, and they have no real feelings because they're very purpose, like a fucking ant. They have a purpose,
made to order. Basically.
Yeah, they do it. Oh, look at the tits on that one. God,
those ropey tits.
Ropey tits. Hey, and
like National Geographic up here.
That does have a gash, a little bit of a gash.
Alien camel toe.
Yeah, gash.
Smooth, shaved smooth like an alien.
With the whole hybridization program, that's the reason they want you to hold the babies. They come back to the mothers or the parents of these hybrids and say, hold it. Or if it's a mother, breastfeed it. Because they know, it's like that whole wire mother experiment we talked about with the monkeys.
Yeah.
Because touch and contact is supposed to help build the whole emotional factor, because they know they don't have emotions. There's a lot of people who theorize that the whole hybridization program is all about them wanting to instill emotions in their, half alien progeny or whatever, because these things feed off of our emotions, according to some people.
Well, just like humans and just like monkeys, you can breastfeed a monkey, but it's still going to rip your fucking face off later.
Yeah. Don't give it Xanax and wine. We learned that the hard way. Not us, but that lady who got fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's David Huggins. I got two last bits. I mean, what we're going to throw in the show notes, you have to check it out. There's such a visual component to this.
Yeah, no, they will be on our gram, and I think I'll get our Facebook going.
The close-up of his face on the one where he's being ridden.
Yeah.
Ridden.
Oh my God, I didn't see that until just now.
That is disturbing. That's like the girl in the closet from The Ring. That's what that fucking face reminds me of.
It is the frozen in horror look on a corpse.
The one, right there.
Like with the mouth agape.
Agape.
But yeah, to bring it back to the mantid aliens, they're the ones who would watch him and just sit in the corner.
They're supervisors.
They're the ones setting it up.
And they go,
they're like,
good.
Yeah,
good.
They're the fucking supervisor in their big fucking Dodge truck on a construction site, while all the guys are out there standing around the hole with one guy digging, and in this sense, it's one guy fucking, or one woman fucking, the man, while the road crew is out there watching, and then the Mantis supervisor is back in the fucking F-350, sitting there in the air conditioning while everybody else is fucking working, and, they get paid twice as much.
Like you've experienced it firsthand or something.
And swipe right on Tinder,
Yeah.
This Crescent hybrid gray human woman, she kind of reminds me of a young, what's that woman's name? The Beetlejuice chick. Winona Ryder, yeah.
Actually, with the wide eyes, I think more of that redhead chick from Zombie.
What's her name?
Yeah. It looks like a Catface. Catface is real big with ladies these days. They got no, it's really like that's the style that's in.
Well, there is a cat race
Sweeney,
of aliens.
Wide set eyes. Anna Taylor-Joy, wide set eyes.
Yeah, there's some gray alien shit going on.
There is some gray alien shit going on there with that chick. She looks very alien.
She's a hybrid, yeah.
She's a hybrid. Maybe it's this guy's daughter. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
She's actually Anna Taylor Huggins.
So, like I said at the top of the show, I think I mentioned this, but this was going to be a sort of just random grab bag of strange insectoid shit. So, we've got enough time. I'm going to throw these last two things in because they're not big enough to get total episodes out of, but they are insectoid adjacent, and they are both very weird. 1834, guy named Andrew Cross. He was one of Tesla's, let's say, influences. They didn't know each other, but he was into electronics, etc. Yeah. This guy, Andrew Cross, is in Britain, and he starts performing these experiments with rocks that he found and putting them in water and charging them up with an electrical charge. And it turns out that when he did this, there were sort of artificial bugs made.
What?
Yeah. And this is part of the influence on...
Was he smoking DMT?
No, this really happened. Faraday did the same experiment, and he was like, yeah, this is what happens. And so this actually became one of the minor influences behind the story of Dr. Frankenstein for creating artificial life. So
like
he calls
simulated primordial soup.
Yes, exactly. And
I've seen that where they do it in the sealed jar atmosphere. They make kind of like one of those mini terrariums in a glass bulb.
Yeah.
But it's
like a mini evolutionary.
They make the primordial soup, and it has to be charged with electricity.
The Genesis
for
tub.
it to work. We'll have to, we'll look that
like
up.
That Simpsons.
We're gonna have to come back with facts on that because I remember little bits of it, but not enough to speak.
Electricity, has to be part of it.
Yeah,
but that's interesting. Yes,
this was pre-Darwin too. So this guy ended up becoming public enemy #1 in his local area of Britain where he was.
All them Jesus freaks.
Yep, they came out of the woodwork and they were like the demon bugs, etc. He was a brilliant man as far as electrical engineering, etc. goes, but because of what he did and the people in charge at the time, he's technically been written off from out of history. There's another guy, however, who has been lauded by the New Age community.
Lauded?
Lauded, yes. Loudly lauded. His name is Dr. quote-unquote Viktor Grebennikov. Yes, he's Russian. He supposedly came up with a method of anti-gravity by using the chitinous, or chitinous, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, shells of a certain type of beetle that he refused to name because he didn't want them to be hunted into extinction, I guess. But he would take their shells off and place them under these platforms and glue them up, and he supposedly made these anti-gravity platforms.
He made a hoverboard?
Basically, yes. Except that
beetle
it got
shells.
super high and super fast. He said it could go 1,000 miles an hour. Largely bullshit. However,
hoverboard out of beetles.
Yeah. However, the principle behind what he was talking about has been used for anti-gravity technology, which was super huge in America up until the 1950s. There were lots of magazine articles, newspaper articles about it.
Does this have to do with Tartaria?
No.
Okay.
No Tartaria. Yeah,
no Tartaria.
The anti-gravity, let's say, investigations and technology was really big in America, and then somewhere in like the mid-1950s, all that shit got shut down, like media-wise. No one was talking about it anymore. But there is something, I believe it's called the cavity reflux or cavity influx. We'll include it in the show notes, but this was the principle that basically went behind a lot of the early anti-gravity tech that people were working on, because there's some sort of it's vibratory. Like, a lot of people don't know that you hear the stories about the pyramids were made using sound. And a lot of people say it's bullshit, but you can move things. You can move solid objects with sound vibrations.
30-ton stones.
I don't know about that.
You'd have to have the fattest set of woofers.
Yeah.
To fucking hump them tones.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen...
Almost seems unfathomable.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's true, but you can move shit with sound.
Yeah, our modern technology, we've been able to levitate a water droplet using only sound.
Stones, whole stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can do it. You gotta have a big ass, you gotta hit the right frequency with the right speaker. Yeah.
James Earl
You can
Jones.
do some stuff.
He'd be the right speaker.
It's like, remember that Howard Stern with the making the chick come on the speaker?
The first Sibian.
Yeah.
And now you know the rest of the story. So yeah, that's our insectoid mantis aliens episode. We're kind of doing a bit of a knock it out of the park on this one because I'm hoping our next episode is going to be a little something juicier as far
Got
as
a lot of studying to do.
Yeah,
It's gonna be saucy.
Yeah, it's gonna be another big one. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the show. Like we said, check out the socials. Anything else?
I just burped pistachio chunks.
Delicious.
Nah, just follow us at Kook Cranks and Iconoclast on Instagram. Me, Christ ACAB on Instagram. Get with me in there, Facebook, even the Twitter, and Threads. I have a Threads. I don't use that one very often. And then, I think I have a Reddit too. Anyway, my name is the same on all the things, but follow our thing, and then I'm gonna be I'm actually posting things on there now.
Yes.
Fun shit.
Check out the David Huggins art.
Yeah, the David Huggins art. I already got a couple up there. I'll probably put a few more and some more of this random Mantis art and other things pertaining. And I also will be putting teasers on our next topic throughout the weeks.
Yeah, and check through the show notes as always. I mean, that's where I put a lot of links to videos and our sources as well. So, I mean, as far as books go, that's gonna have to be Amazon. It's the only place I can take you to because I can't give away where I download my free books because that could get me in trouble. But these authors are worth checking out, and once again, this backs up a lot of what we're saying. So
yeah,
you'll find
Mike steals them so he can at least encourage you to buy them. So
yes,
we're helping him out a little bit.
I read them so you don't have to, but then should read them. Donate your money to these authors, please. Yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode. This is Kook Cranks and Iconoclast. I'm your host, Mike, and I'm joined by
Spencer Lowry.
Again, Chris No Diddy Wells. Good night.
See you next week.
Bye.
Whoosh.